Hi folks. Infamous recaps here. Today we're gonna see a mystery, sci-fi, horror movie called What Lies Below. Spoilers ahead. Be careful and let's go ahead. A 16-year-old girl, Liberty Wells, who goes by Libby, seems to be reading a book. Suddenly a car honks, and she leaves. While on the drive, her mother, Michelle Wells, a romance novelist, asks about the summer camp, but Libby doesn't even care. Michelle offers to let Libby practice driving. After arriving at the house, Libby meets her mother's new boyfriend, John, an aquatic geneticist, who gives her a bracelet with symbols and says that it denotes the goddess of fertility. Libby wears a blue dress, as the same type of her mother. During dinner, John explains that his work involves trying to help creatures adapt to changing environments. Libby seems to be attracted to John. Later that night, Libby goes to the kitchen and she hears loud sexual moaning of John and Michelle and runs back to her bed. John stands in her doorway and stares at her, while Libby pretends to be asleep. The next morning, Michelle and Libby dig up time capsules buried in the yard, and they have an argument about Libby thinking Michelle doesn't care about her grandparents until Michelle tells Libby she felt unwanted by her father. Libby explores the lake and is bitten by a large insect, and John helps her. Libby and John has a little conversation by the lake. Libby returns to the house to find that Michelle is ill, and Michelle reveals that John asked her to marry him, and she said yes. Libby says that she is happy for her. Libby goes to the basement to speak to John and learns that he is working with parasites. John asks Libby if she is free to join to collect some samples from the lake, and Libby says yes. They both go on a raft, and suddenly Libby starts to menstruate, and when John sees the blood, he attempts to clean it up with his shirt and touches her. During that, Libby finds John licking her period blood. They return to the house, and while Libby showers, Libby removes the bracelet given to her by John to find a red mark on her wrist. John sneaks into the bathroom to smell Libby through the curtain. Libby texts her friend Marley and asks her to come to the house. That night, Libby wakes up and sees John walking into the lake, which is emitting red lights. Libby goes to the lake, but John suddenly appears, completely dry, and tells Libby that he suffers from sleepwalking. The next morning, Libby finds Michelle sick. Michelle sends Libby to town to get medicine and a pregnancy test, and while there, after buying the pregnancy test and medicines, Libby follows a man who looks like John down the street with another woman. But the shopkeeper stops her, saying that she didn't pay for the pregnancy test. Libby returns to the house and tells Marley that John touched her inappropriately, and Marley says that she's going to tell Michelle. After waking up, Libby finds Michelle and John, and Michelle says that Libby is making up lies about John touching her, and Libby tries to pull Michelle away from John, but Michelle slaps Libby. Libby reveals Michelle's age, which is 42, not 35, then John leaves. Later, while John and Michelle making out, Libby sees that John has a nictitating membrane. Libby goes to the lake and notices something. She uses the car's headlamps to check it out, but instead sinks the cars into the lake. A while later, Libby investigates the basement and notices symbols on her wrist where the bracelet used to be. She discovers Michelle in a tank attached to N4 with the same symbols on her wrists. Suddenly John comes, and he seems having unusual legs and unusual sound. Libby hides while John watches Michelle give birth to a dying creature. Later, John passes a crystal from his mouth to the newborn creature. Liberty then tries to destroy the lab, but John, who seems to be an alien creature, tries to break in. Libby calls the police and discovers Marley's body in a water tank, being devoured by parasites. John attacks Libby and licks Liberty with an unusual alien tongue. Libby splashes salt to suffocate John, and she tries to escape with Michelle, and she wakes up, tied up in a basement. Several men who look identical to John appear and start to peel the walls back to reveal many unconscious women in water tanks. John says that we don't have time, and passes a glowing substance and forces Libby to consume it. Libby awakes in a row of water tanks containing other women, apparently in pupae. As water fills her tank, she initially bangs on the glass, but then she smiles when she realizes that she can breathe underwater. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Turn on the notification button for latest updates. Also do like to promote us.